Hi everyone, welcome to another video. I just wanted to get on here and talk about random things this week, some life updates. I just came back from vacation. I've been taking some time off of work, YouTube, and I didn't really get to plan for this video, so I'm just going with the flow. And I guess coming back from vacation, and I feel like in a way that trip changed the way I feel about myself a little bit. I know that I always talk about not letting external factors impact you and not letting other people determine how you feel about yourself and not letting people determine your worth. And actually, it's hard for me to admit, but I'm also feeling like I'm struggling a lot with that again. I was doing well for a while. I guess one reason I can think of is that I stopped going to therapy. I can't really afford it anymore. It doesn't really work with my budget, my lifestyle. Yeah, I'm not going to therapy anymore, and I feel like ever since then I've sort of hit a block because I've also went through some life changes since then, and I guess therapy was really helping to ground me and think of ways that I can improve myself, and kind of without it I feel a little bit like, I don't want to say I'm struggling, but I definitely lose direction sometimes. I allow my thoughts to spiral in a negative way, and I don't fully reflect on things and find I feel like healthiest way to deal with my problems. Like coming back from Europe, I noticed like an increased problem with social anxiety. Like I feel that I was really paranoid when I was there. I was really feeling judged, and I was getting a lot of weird looks, and I already talked through it logically in my head, like, you know, they were only looking because they don't see people that look like you very often, or you and your friends looked very interesting to them, or things like that. But I think it's just something I really wasn't used to, kind of like a culture shock, and I subconsciously took that in, and I feel like really insecure. I feel really just not great about myself. You know, people were rude to me there, me and my friends. People judged us really badly, like based on how we looked. We get a lot of judgmental looks. And I feel like that I kind of took it personally, even though I know I shouldn't, and I really don't want to, but yeah, I took it personally. And whether or not I like to admit it, it made me feel bad about myself. And coming back, I know that I was very able to navigate my life before all of this, before vacation. Anyways, I feel like I'm struggling now with how I see myself and how I feel about myself and my whole life. Like I feel like it was like the last straw that kind of sent me into this thinking spiral of, what do people think of me when they look at me? Are people secretly judging me? And people in Europe were just more openly judging me, but everyone else is thinking it in their heads. And I'm like questioning my whole existence and whether or not something's wrong with me, whether or not I'm not performing well socially. And I've always had a struggle with social anxiety. I've talked about it on my channel, but I have an on and off relationship with social anxiety. Some days I feel it really badly. Some days I feel self-conscious about everything I do. Some days I feel like everything I do is embarrassing, everything I do is wrong, and that people are judging me rightfully because I'm doing something that's really socially incorrect, or, you know, abnormal, or I seem weird, I'm doing something unacceptable. Like something triggered that again. I feel like I'm being triggered into this space where I'm like, oh, I'm reverting back to my old self. I feel like I'm going backwards in my self-learning and healing journey, and I'm becoming this version of myself that I didn't like, that I didn't feel proud of, that I felt like was always holding me back in my life. And so this video, I guess, is me thinking of ways I can fix that. I have thought about it a lot. I've reflected on it a lot. Doesn't change the fact that I feel this way, but I'm thinking of ways to combat this problem. I think the first issue I noticed is that I'm feeling really upset and disappointed with myself because I have too many expectations. I have expectations of how other people should treat me, expectations of how things will turn out. I have expectations of what I will feel like in certain situations, how people should make me feel. I feel like having those expectations is actually holding me back. Like, I'm expecting this certain type of treatment from people, I'm expecting people to talk to me a certain way, to interact with me a certain way, to look at me a certain way. I'm expecting like people do certain things and be a certain way. But that's what's actually holding me back, is having expectations of things and expectations of outcomes of situations. Although it's definitely your right to feel like you should be respected and you should be treated a certain way, you can't control other people's actions. And I feel that setting your expectations of others to zero really helps with that, getting disappointed and feeling like there's something wrong with you. Because I'm no longer single, but when I was single, I had zero expectations of anyone. I had zero expectations of strangers and how they treat me. I have zero expectations of when I'm meeting new people. I have zero expectations of like my friends, because I think I became like really independent and really self-sufficient, and it didn't really matter to me how people felt about me, how they treated me, how they saw me, because I was able to set those boundaries and be like, well, if you make me feel bad, I'm just gonna distance myself and go away. The point is, I think that having little expectations of people, or no expectations at all, besides the bare minimum, of course, will leave you feeling a lot more accepting of the way things turn out in life, because you're like, you know what, yeah, things happen, that happened, it happens, you know. I wasn't expecting like this perfect outcome. I wasn't expecting everyone to be really nice to me, treat me well, to, you know, be kind. And I feel like people might think that as sad, or might feel like, oh, that's a little bit of a doomy thought, but I actually think it helps bring peace to me, because when I had no expectations of anyone, no expectations of myself, no expectations of how other people treat me, I always found that I was pleasantly surprised at the end of my experiences. If not pleasantly surprised, at least just feeling neutral and not feeling like really down after somebody treats me poorly, or really disappointed if someone didn't do something that I expected them to do. You know what I mean? I feel like you shouldn't really rely on people in any way to determine how you feel about yourself, which is what I let happen, I guess. I let the way other people treat me determine how I felt, because I don't know why. I guess it was a different setting. I was feeling vulnerable. I was feeling like a little bit insecure about my abilities, myself. You know, I was relying on other people, and it made me feel like really bad about myself when things didn't turn out the way I wanted. When, you know, someone was rude to me, or someone didn't act in a way where I expected them to act, because, you know, I was vulnerable. I think that's the only answer. I was really vulnerable, and I felt like I had expectations of people and things and situations, and they didn't end up the way I imagined. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I allowed myself to be comfortable for so long. I allowed myself to limit myself to situations that I knew would have a specific outcome, or at least was pretty sure would have a specific outcome. I got used to like a routine. I got comfortable knowing what to expect. And in a way, that's a good thing, but a lot of things in life are out of your control, and that's what I noticed. I mean, that's what everyone ends up realizing in life, is that a lot of things are out of your control. You can try as hard as you want to prevent any bad things from happening, but things will happen, and that's totally out of your control. Another thing I wanted to talk about is rejection therapy. Since I'm like going through this struggle, wait, I forgot something. Forgot my mascara. Oops. Since I'm going through this ongoing struggle with social anxiety and feeling like I'm not good enough, feeling very insecure, a common method you're hearing about probably in social media is rejection therapy. So what is rejection therapy? Rejection therapy is basically putting yourself in these uncomfortable situations. It's like exposing yourself to these uncomfortable situations where you believe you'll get rejected. And the whole goal is to try to get rejected in these situations where you believe you will be. And most of the time what you'll find is that people won't say no to your requests. People won't say no to the thing you fear they will reject you in. People won't make you feel bad about something. I think where social anxiety comes is for a lot of people who overthink, and a lot of people who people please. So they feel like they should never ask for help. They fear the worst case scenario all the time. They think that people are out to get them maybe. And that might be based on some true real life experiences that maybe happened sometime in their life, most likely like early on in their life. A lot of the time for me, where it comes from is I catastrophize situations, and I blow things out of proportion and make it seem way worse than it actually is. And there's no real issue, but I convince myself that everyone hates me, no one cares about me, that people don't go out of their way to help people in need, that people won't bother helping someone if it doesn't benefit them. And I think this is a valid fear to have, but you'll find that there are actually a lot more kind people that think like you and that care about people than you think. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think that through therapy and through getting to know myself and spending that time with myself, the beginning half of this year made me realize that people are so much kinder that I never even realized. And going to this trip made me think that I think it kind of undid some of the reshifting of my perspective that happened in the beginning half of the year, because it was a totally different environment, totally different culture. People aren't as friendly there. Obviously, I'm from Canada, so where I live, I find that people are a lot more friendly, a lot more accepting, a lot more open, and obviously it had to do with the setting I was in that made me kind of undo all of this thinking that I reshifted. And I don't think that's necessarily right. I think that I probably took all my worst experiences when I was traveling and kind of made assumptions of people, and I guess convinced myself that maybe people aren't as open and nice and kind and caring as I thought. And I don't like thinking this way. I like assuming the best in people. I like assuming that if I needed help, people would help me, and that, you know, good people are everywhere and that people care for each other. And I know that's true, but I think it just takes time, patience, having little expectations of people and situations, and understanding and knowing yourself and being sure of yourself and being okay with the fact that not everybody is going to treat you a certain way, that not everybody is going to be kind, not everybody comes from the same background and culture as you that you're used to. You know, I think it takes a lot of reflection, empathy, and time to see that I hate to say it like this because it makes me feel bad about myself, but not everything is about you. Not everything is about me. Not everything is about you. Not everything is about other people. I think it's really easy to take things personally, especially in a setting where you feel vulnerable, uncomfortable. But I'm also working on it, and I encourage you guys to work on it with me. Don't let situations, don't let the past, don't let the way people treat you dictate how you feel about yourself. And it's a lot easier said than done. So I will keep you posted on my journey. Anyways, that's kind of the end of this video, end of the makeup look. Please like and subscribe to support the channel. We're slowly but surely growing, and I'm so happy to have all of you here and have you enjoy my videos. Thanks for watching, and if you want to support me, I think there's this new feature on my channel that allows you to purchase certain stickers or request certain things from me. I'm not so sure yet. I just found out about it, and I'll let you guys know more about this in the future when I figure it out. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel, and leave a comment on, I guess, any topics you want to hear about, any questions you have for me. I would love to hear what you guys want to see. Final makeup look. And see you in the next one. Bye.